White? Oh, here. Okay.
Everybody set there? All right, great. Well, good morning. Thanks for being here. My name is Bill Schuette, and I have the privilege of serving as Attorney General of the state of Michigan. And I also have the privilege to be with my dear friend, James Craig, Chief of Police here in Detroit, Mark Diaz, President of the Detroit Police Officers Association, Deputy Chief David LaValle, and a great team here who serve the citizens of Detroit throughout Wayne County and do such a spectacular job. Now, sadly and unfortunately, across America, women and men in law enforcement are under siege. Women and men in law enforcement are under siege, at times ridiculed, disrespected, taken for granted, or worse yet, targeted for violence or death. And that's wrong. And I won't be a bystander. Absolutely not. No way. Now, this summer on July 8th, a Facebook post from a Michigan resident provided encouragement to kill cops. It was a tirade of hate and violence. It was a tirade of hate and violence specifically directed towards police, encouraging people to kill police. This type of action endangers public safety, makes our schools and our neighborhoods and our communities more dangerous, and encourages violence and violent behavior, which threatens the lives of women and men in law enforcement in Michigan and across the United States of America. Now, I met with Chief Craig and Mark Diaz and told them I would review this case. And I have. And today we are announcing felony charges against Mr. Nehru Littleton of Detroit for his Facebook posts, which threaten the lives of law enforcement people, women and men, who protect our streets, our schools, our neighborhoods, and our communities. Littleton has been charged with the following crimes in the 33rd District Court in Trenton. First, making a terrorist threat, which is a 20-year felony, and secondly, using a computer to commit a crime, a 20-year felony. Now, cops and deputies, law enforcement, they occupy a fragile space between chaos and safety. It's a fine line between peace and violence. And as Michigan's chief law enforcement officer, I stand with the police and the deputies in Michigan's big cities and small towns, from the Indiana line to the shores of Lake Superior. And I stand with the men and women on the beat who drive the streets, who took an oath to protect our citizens and our schools and our neighborhoods and our community. I am with them, and I am with you. I stand with Sergeant Stile also and his team. We went through his sad, tragic situation with that recently. And Chief Craig and Mark Diaz, I've got your back. And Chief Craig and Mark Diaz, I have the back of your team here in Detroit. I'm honored to be with you. I'm honored to stand with you. Thank you very much. Chief?
Thank you so much. You bet. You bet. So I just want to start out by saying first a hearty thank you to our Attorney General, Bill Schuette. Certainly I want to thank my partner, certainly our union president, DPOA. I want to also thank the National Association of Police Organizations, NAPO. Now, you remember I was very vocal about the threats to kill police officers. Certainly we were waiting for a response. We did not get that. Certainly the national organization, Mark Diaz, we started to talk, and without hesitation, our Attorney General stepped up and said, we will review. No promises. Just said, we'll review the case because we know how important it is to you and your team. So let me tell you why it's so important. I'm going to, just bear with me, I'm going to go through a 48-hour timeline. I typically will pay attention to the events around the world, not just nationally. So by way of example, Dallas, Georgia, man shot and tased after attempting to run officers over. Monday. Los Angeles, California, on Monday, man killed in second officer-involved shooting in 2 days, both armed. Monday, Minneapolis, 6 people shot in downtown Minneapolis. Fredericksburg, Virginia, gunman on the run after a shootout with police. Monday, police injured in an ambush in a remote village of the Philippines. Lynn, Massachusetts, police shoot and kill a robbery suspect. Carolina Beach, North Carolina, police attacked by a 21-year-old man with an assault rifle. Venter, New Jersey, police shoot and kill a man following a barricaded suspect, armed. Yesterday, Jackson, Georgia, officer arrested and charged with felonies about being shot by a black man. Yesterday, officer involved fatal shooting, Statesboro, Georgia. Yesterday, Los Angeles County Sheriff, deputy officer involved shooting, station shut down. Yesterday, or today, Boston, Massachusetts, suspects arrested after a shootout with the police. And lastly, again today, Aurora, Illinois, suspect exchanges gunfire with police, then shoots self. So what's the message? So I've said it. My critics said, why are we worried about threats? A threat to kill a police officer not only is a threat against all of us, we take threats seriously. This is why we're doing what we're doing today. One, we have to support our men and women, not just here locally, not only in the region and the state, but across this country, who run to danger. It's so critical. So let's bring it home. Captain Style, serving this city, shot by an armed gunman, gave his life serving the city of Detroit. Let's talk about even doing his services. A threat to blow up the church where his memorial service was being held. So I want to acknowledge certainly the effort by the U.S. Attorney's Office, Barbara McQuaid. That person has been charged. Again, the threats today are serious. I can't stress it enough. And I know doing Q&A, we'll probably delve into that a little deeper. So this is a good day in the sense that this threat's being taken seriously. I'm going to continue to push vigorously. My voice will continuously be heard on this matter because the threats are real. I gave you the snapshot of the last 48 hours to show you, and this is not just this 48 hours, this has been every 48 hours over the last month. Officers being ambushed. And let's talk about just before Captain Stiles' untimely death, that 3 of our officers were ambushed. Fortunately, not one hit. Lone suspect with an assault-type rifle fires 20 rounds at our officers, striking the police vehicle. And so again, the threats are real. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to my partner. Oh, well, you are my partner, too. Deputy Chief David LaValle.
Thank you.
Okay.
David LaValle. I'm the Deputy Chief over the Detective Bureau for the Detroit Police Department. And I just want to take a minute to acknowledge all the exceptional hard work of all the detectives in the Detroit Police Department, but specifically those that were involved in this case. They put tireless, countless hours into preparing these cases, doing the research. This is something new for us, so it's commendable to the amount of work that they did and the quality of work that they did to be able to bring charges forward today. Also want to acknowledge our cybercrime unit who worked on the case, the intelligence unit who worked on the case, and also the Violent Crime Task Force, as well as our partners on that task force, the FBI and the Michigan State Police. Thank you.
Well, first, thank you everyone for coming out and making it here today for this announcement. And I'd be absolutely beside myself if I didn't point out the obvious. Thank you to the media. Thank you to Chief Craig. Thank you to Attorney General Schuette. Thank you for supporting law enforcement. And I'm not just talking about law enforcement here in the city of Detroit. Today I'm talking about law enforcement globally. As I stand before you now, we have an uptick in police killings nationally by 46% from last year. Just this year alone, we have lost 40 of our heroes in the United States of America to gunfire. Those are our police officers who have been killed in the line of duty protecting our citizens. And as Attorney General Schuette stated, we take an oath as police officers. We take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, and we take an oath to protect our citizens. What we need is a level of protection from our Attorney General's office, and that is exactly what we received here today. We have to take the threats serious. We're losing police officers at a rate that we just can't lose our officers. In my 22 years as a law enforcement officer, I have had to bury 20 of my friends just from here in the city of Detroit. Our citizens deserve better. What has happened here today is a benefit to our citizens. We're protecting our protectors so we can provide a level of protection for our citizens. On that, thank you all very much for coming out, and again, Attorney General Schuette, thank you.
So at this point, we'll take any questions that you might have.
Yes, sir. For the Attorney General, and I'm not going to ask you to comment on what another agency did, but before these press release and declining to charge this individual, she said that this does not rise to the level of terrorism, MCL 43M, that this doesn't rise to the level. Obviously, you disagree with it. Where is that statement wrong that enables you to charge this?
Well, you know, we worked very hard on it, and with a partnership with DPD, with Chief Craig and the rest of his team and my team at the Department of Attorney General as well. These charges are solid, they're substantive, and you know, I stand with the cops. And the fact is, police are under siege. These threats are real. These threats are serious. They provoke violence. They encourage dangerous behavior. And what it does is it means that cops are threatened all the time, which means our communities, our schools, our neighborhoods then are threatened, and it's a less safe place. And so we have worked very hard on this. I appreciate the work of DPD and the Department of Attorney General. We filed these charges. They're solid, and this is a fight worth fighting for, I can tell you that.
Can you talk about what you may have found in your investigation that may have been missed prior to?
You know, I'm not going to get into what happened in the past. I'm all about going forward. I'm all about supporting law enforcement and also sending a message out there that these threats are serious, and it's not humorous. It's not kidding. It's not joking. This is about when you make these threats to kill cops, it incites violence, and it encourages others, and it means that it threatens the lives of law enforcement. I'm not going to put up with that. Chief Craig's not going to put up with it, and that's why we're a team. Guy.
Can you talk about the specific charges? What are the charges?
The charges are terrorism pursuant to statute, and also another committing a crime on a terrorist crime on a computer. Guy.
In terms of the man made the threats apparently on social media, but he made them from Puerto Rico. Is that true, and is that problematic?
No, it's not problematic. There's a statute, and 762.2, that when you make an act from another state that has a detrimental and substantial impact on this state, Michigan, these charges may be filed, and that's just what we did, right to the book,
so
right to the left.
By the prosecutor.
Pardon me?
So when the prosecutor said that there was no venue, it was a misread on her part?
Again, I'm not getting into that, Guy. I'm saying I'm sharing with how James and I are going forward together.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, something else that I wanted to really stress, you know, as I pointed out, I had a conversation with Captain Stiles just before his untimely death. And we knew that we were planning this press conference to announce charges against this individual. And Captain Stiles said, without hesitation, I want to be part of it. I want to stand there with you because the threats are real. We deal with individuals in the field every night that are threatening to kill us. And I told the story just before this briefing about Stiles' partner, Officer Anderson, who had arrested an individual, an armed suspect, a felon with a gun, and it was during his arrest that this suspect looked in the eyes of Officer Anderson and said, "Next time, be on your A game, because I'm going to kill you." That's the seriousness of the world, the landscape that our officers operate in today. Any other questions?
Just curious about the venue in Trenton rather than Wayne County, Detroit Court.
The venue's in Trenton, in the 33rd District Court in Trenton, because that is where this tip was received and where the resident lives in Trenton. That's the reason.
So has he been arraigned yet, or is he going to be arraigned? What's the status?
The status is as we speak, and I'll let Chief talk about that in terms of the progress on that.
As we're speaking right now, our investigative personnel are out vigorously looking for him. I'm optimistic that he will be brought into custody today.
There were 3 other cases of threats that you arrested for, I believe, back in July.
Yes.
So what is going on with those cases?
One is still in the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office waiting for information to be returned from search warrant. The other 2, those have been denied. And so this one certainly, from the beginning, we believed, as you said, had more meat on the bones. It was very specific in our judgment. And so this is the one. So the message is clear. You threaten to kill a police officer, there will be a certain response by law enforcement, and certainly as demonstrated by Attorney General Bill Schuette, that we're serious about threats to kill police officers.
So the other 2 that were denied, you denied those 2 as well as the prosecutor?
Yes, there were originally 4. 3 were denied, and we've pressed charges on 1. We think this is solid and substantive and sends a message. There are consequences to serious threats like this.
And just to clarify, the case that you had with the postings on the Channel 7 page with the sergeant's funeral, that's pending in the hands of the feds, is that correct? Can you clarify that, Chief?
No, in fact, the U.S. Attorney Barbara McCrae has charged the individual. So, again, we appreciate that. I think you had a question,
I'm sorry,
sir.
Chief. There was another one about with the officer was bringing school supplies to kids. That was actually the 5th. What's the status of that one?
That's still under investigation. There's some other dynamics with that case that I can't go into right now, but we are still actively investigating that one.
Is that one before Kimworthy, that last case?
There's some things that we're doing. I don't want to go into a lot of details on that one.
Mr. Diaz, would you care to comment on the fact that charges are being brought now, but they weren't brought by the Wayne County prosecutor? Any comment to that one?
Well, to be very clear, I obviously voiced my disappointment and concern with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office when the warrants were initially denied. I think it would be, I think the fact that, as Attorney General Schuette pointed out in reading statute, there was in fact a reason for the warrant to be granted, and accordingly, we're incredibly thrilled. We're very pleased. The Attorney General's office has taken up this case and is in fact seeing it through to fruition to protect our police officers, to protect our citizens of the state of Michigan. So with respect to Prosecutor Worthy's denial, I can't speak to why, her reasons, other than that she definitely had a negative impact on the law enforcement community with that decision. But it's we're very pleased and we're very happy that the state's Attorney General's office has definitely stepped up and is seeing true justice is brought to our law enforcement officers in the state of the citizens of Michigan.
Anything else?
Kind of on a different subject, but it's an incredibly hot topic right
dressing up as clowns and creating havoc, and armed robberies with people now joining this fad with people wearing
I'm
clown
sorry,
suits.
can we stay focused on this one particular situation? We
Well, I
can
got
address that.
everybody at the podium. I
We
just
can
wanted
address this right after, if you don't mind.
If you want to discuss it
Yeah,
after,
discuss it right after.
I want to stay focused on this, what I consider a very critical issue,
Yeah.
and then we can go ahead and talk about clowns. Anything else?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for letting me stay. Hey, Renee, nice to meet you.
Everyone, we say next.